Good morning. So today I want to talk a little bit about learning to be a kid again. And what brought this up was I've kind of noticed as I've gotten older, there feels like this pressure to be an adult. So yes, once we become 18, technically we're a legal adult. As we get older, we become an adult by getting your job, living on your own, all of the stuff that labels us as an adult. But somehow during this process, we seem to forget how to have fun sometimes in the innocent ways that we used to when we were younger. So I was really thinking about this, and this past weekend when me and my husband said that we needed to start watering the lawn a little bit because it's been really dry here in San Antonio, and when it gets dry out, the dirt pulls away from the foundation, can cause it to shift and all these things. He's a science guy, not me. So we just needed to start watering the lawn. So we went and bought sprinklers. We were putting them outside. And I realized that it doesn't feel like we play as much as we used to. Like we used to goof off, go different places. We used to go to different places, like parks, museums, different locations. But I don't feel like we play. And it's something that I've tried to kind of add a little bit more, because while we do get along great and we can have serious conversations, we can have fun conversations, we can go out different places together and have a good time, I also kind of want there to be a silly aspect to our relationship, because that's something that is important to me. So I decided I was going to ask him if he wanted to have a water balloon fight, because when I was having my bachelorette party, I went to Walmart and went a little crazy and bought a pack of water balloons. And we didn't end up using them, so I had them with me in the house, and I thought, why not? We were already going to be outside. It was a really hot day, and it's been a hot day. It's Texas, and it's summer. And we had time. We didn't have to be anywhere, and we had somewhere later to be that evening. So we could just go outside, have some fun, set up the sprinklers, get wet, cool down, and then come inside, take a shower, and relax before we had to go somewhere. So I brought them out, we filled them up. We had a hard time filling them up because they were these ones that are supposed to be easy to fill. So you hook it up to the hose, you fill it up, and you're supposed to shake them off, and they were having trouble coming off. So we had some fun doing that. We played with what was left, and we just had a good time, and it was something that I hadn't done in a while. And it got me thinking, why hadn't I done this in so long? Like, this was something that I used to love doing when I was a kid. Every time summer would come up, my mom would set up the sprinklers, and we would go running in our swimsuits, and then we would dry off, we'd take a shower, and then we'd just relax the rest of the day. But somewhere along the line, I stopped doing it. And it made me start to wonder all the other things that I stopped doing because I'm an adult now, or I can't, go and have fun anymore because I'm grown up and shouldn't be going outside and playing with water balloons. And it made me realize that sometimes as we get older, we forget how to be a kid again. We forget how to have fun, how to just, every time we do something, we feel like we have to do it right or perfect. Like, we can't just doodle on a sketchbook anymore because it has to be good. If it's not good, we rip out pages and we throw them away. But some of my favorite things to look at are my old sketchbooks from when I was in elementary school, junior high, high school even, where they're not great, but I still like to look back at them and see kind of the stuff that I was doing. And I'm not saying I'm perfect now, but it makes it a little bit harder sometimes to go back and sketch because I have this feeling that I need to be better, when I used to just do it for fun. I remember waking up in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep, and just pulling out my sketchbook and a box of crayons and just coloring, and I got the colors all wrong because it was dark and I didn't want to turn on a light. So I just kind of grabbed colors and drew, and it actually came out kind of cool, but it was all sorts of weird, funky colors. And it just was something I used to do for fun. And then, water balloon fights, going out and playing in the sprinklers, or playing video games even sometimes. We forget how to just pull out some board games and have a good time. And it's something that we seem to be forgetting as we get older, that it's okay to it doesn't matter how old we are, whether we're, in our second decade or our sixth decade. We need to remember how to have fun. A few months ago, when we went to go visit my family, we went with a friend of mine and her daughter to the Children's Museum. And it was something I hadn't done in years, because when I was little, it was about an hour drive from our house, so it was a little far. So we didn't go very frequently, because my mom, 3 little girls in the car, like driving them for an hour. If you're a parent, you understand. Or if you know kids, you understand. It's a lot. So we didn't go very frequently, but I remember loving it and having a good time. So we got together, we planned it, we went to the Children's Museum. And part of me was a little worried. I was like, well, what if there's only one kid among us? What if it's just kind of boring? It's a waste of time. But me and my husband just, we went, we hung out with her, we showed her all these different things, and when she went and got stuck on different things, because kids get fascinated with one thing sometimes, she jumped in one of the trucks and just kind of was there. And I remember playing, putting stuff together, because they have these pegboards that are different colors and different sizes with, wood beams that are already pre-drilled holes, and you can kind of make stuff with them. And I remember thinking that was really cool. It was one of my favorite things to do. So we left. I took my husband to that area of the museum, which it wasn't very big. We went over there, we sat down, and we had a house building competition. We're like, we'll see which one of us does the better one, and we're putting them together, and we're having a good time. And we were just able to be kids again. For just that minute, we were putting stuff together. Yes, we were older, and we have a better understanding of how to put stuff together in a sturdy way, and not just kind of leave stuff all haphazard hanging off of it. We were screwing things in, doing it right, and we had a really good time. And it's something that we don't always think about to do, to go and play with kids' toys or go to a children's museum on our own. But it was fun, and we had a good time. And we got to remember what it was like to be a kid, and I got to remember all of the fun times that I'd spent there when I was younger. I got to share that with him. And again, I started to wonder, why don't we do this more frequently? And I think it's because when we get older, we have this misconception that as we get older, we have to put aside all of these childish things. And to an extent, we do. We do have to grow up sometimes. We have to learn that we can't blow all of our money on toys and candies and things that aren't good for us. We have to ration that, and we have to learn how to budget to spend on groceries, foods that are good for us, on clothing so we look put together, on setting time aside so we can go to a job, so we can work to get the money to do, and all of the things that we have to do as an adult. We do have to learn to grow up in that sense, but that doesn't mean we have to forget or put aside how we used to play, how we used to have fun. Because, so as you get older, it's like, oh, well, what's a good night out? We go drinking, or we go eating, or we go watching a movie, and it doesn't have quite the same feeling as it did when we were younger, when we used to get excited, and we were giggling, and we were pulling out the board games. And I am the worst when we play board games, because if we're playing and I'm losing, I have a tendency to squeal and laugh and giggle, and it's just, I have fun. And so when we pull out board games again, we're playing, we played Chinese checkers in the backyard the other day. We've started to play things I always forget what it's called when I'm trying to pull up the words, Battleship and Speed, and that was a card game I hadn't played since I was in high school, probably earlier. And I used to have a lot of fun playing it. And there's all of these things that we just forget sometimes as we get older, because we have to be serious. Or, well, a good time now means we can go out to a nice restaurant, or we can, we'll go to a bar because now we can't, or we'll go to a club. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like it doesn't always have the same feelings that we're looking for. And it's because it's childish, or, oh, it's not, we're not supposed to be doing that anymore. And it's something that I feel like we still need to be doing, because sometimes it's like, oh, well, when you have kids, you're going to be able to play all these games again, you're supposed to, you're able to have fun, you can go out and play with them. But why don't we have to wait for that? And some people don't want kids, which is fine. But why would you have to wait till you had kids, or you were taking care of somebody else's kids, or you spent time around kids? to be able to have fun like a kid. And as I've started to add some more of these things, like we're playing board games, we're playing outside with water balloons and playing in the sprinklers and just goofing off, I feel less stressed. I feel less anxious, felt less pent up. I can release some of that stress by just relaxing and goofing off and having a good time and being able to play again. And that's kind of what this video is about. We sometimes forget that it used to be really relaxing and fun and easy to play when we were younger. And I always love watching those videos where little kids try to teach us to be innocent again, how to make friends, how to play, how to do all of these things, and show us what's really important. There's videos out there that are like kids, they ask the question to parents and then to their kids, if you could have a meal with anyone in the world, alive or dead, who would it be? And the parents are always picking like celebrities or icons or people, and the kids are always saying, well, I would have a meal with my family. I would have it with my friends, the people who are important to them. And then there's other ones where kids are showing us how to have friends again. You know, they're walking up to people in coffee shops and just, you know, hi, what's your name? What are you doing? You know, and somewhere along the way we kind of lose that little innocence that allows us to have fun, that just says, go ahead, go make friends, go talk to people that you've never met before. And it's so intimidating now sometimes for us, but it used to be so easy. And I think we just forget that sometimes, that it used to be so easy to be happy. We've attached so much, we'll be happy when we have enough money, when we have the house, when we get married, when we have kids, when this big thing happens. And then we keep pushing it back. We can't keep putting off happiness or that ability to relax until anything. A deck of cards is probably like $5, and you can just go and you can play games with somebody. Go to a park and see if you can play with somebody. A coffee shop. If you're paranoid about safety, like, you can message your friends and say, hey, who wants to hang out? You don't have to keep putting it off until something happens. Do it today. Add something to your life. Make, I don't know, alphabet soup and have a spelling contest. Pull out an old board game that you haven't played in forever and set it up and say, this is what we're doing today. Pull up a Skype video or a Facebook video or a FaceTime with somebody that you used to hang out with and play a guessing game. A great game for that would probably be, what's that game called? It's supposed to be like you're supposed to guess the person. Guess who, I think? Yeah, that makes sense. Just set it up between the two of you and guess who your character is. There's so many different opportunities if we just think about it and stop making it seem like, oh, well, we can't play like that because it's a kid's game. So, last time I saw all the board games say like 3 and up, not 3 to 10 or 3 to 20, 3 and up. We're still up. We can still play. There's no age restriction in that we have to be this young to play this game. So this is a little bit of a short video, but I think I've made my point. Go out and play again. In fact, share with me what your favorite game that you used to play when you were younger. I used to have so many. I loved to play Uno with my family because we're all very competitive, and we used to scream at each other and throw tantrums when we lost because it was so terrible, and we would guilt each other. I remember that my sister, and she might get upset with me for this later, but she used to get so upset when we would give her the plus cards. Like, she would get upset and she would cry and she'd like get all of our pity, and the next time we look at her, she's got like 1 card left and she's still playing the "oh please not me" card. While the rest of us are holding like these stacks of cards, and she would have 1 and be like, no, but you can't do that to me. So tell me what your favorite game is. Maybe I haven't tried it before. Maybe I have. Maybe this is how we start to play again. We start to share games and figure out what we have in common with each other. Thanks for listening.